Seniors, I'm begging you, don't scroll away. If you've ever grabbed something from the freezer just because it was quick and easy, if you've worried that frozen meals might quietly be working against your health after 60, or if you've wondered which frozen foods could actually help you stay strong, sharp, and independent, then you've clicked on the right place. Here's exactly what you'll get today. First, we'll uncover whether frozen foods are really your hidden health ally, or a quiet trap that speeds up aging. Then I'll walk you through the 4 frozen foods that may chip away at your health after 60, and I promise, number 3 on that list will surprise you. Next, the 4 frozen superfoods that truly support your brain, muscles, joints, and energy. And because I want you to get more than you expected, I'll also give you a special bonus at the end. Your Freezer Makeover, a 14-day, senior-friendly plan. It's a practical step-by-step you can use right away to turn your freezer into your best health tool. So let's not waste time. Let's start with the real question. Are frozen foods helping you or quietly holding you back? And if you have a friend, spouse, or family member who also cares about their health after 60, don't hesitate to invite them to watch along or share this video with them. Let me start with a conflict many of you know too well. Some nights, frozen food feels like a blessing. You pull out a bag of vegetables, heat them up, and dinner is done. Other nights, those same freezer meals leave you bloated, tired, or wondering why your pants feel tighter. How can the same freezer be both comfort and culprit? I once heard a widow share that frozen dinners gave her freedom in the beginning. But months later, she noticed swollen fingers and shortness of breath on her walks. Her freezer had quietly turned into both a friend and a thief. Science supports this double edge. Research published in the American Journal of Agricultural Economics in 2019 showed that frozen produce often keeps vitamins better than fresh food left in the fridge for a week. But the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics reported in 2014 that many packaged frozen meals are overloaded with sodium and refined starches, which challenge aging metabolisms. Frozen foods are not the enemy. The real issue is which ones we bring home. Choose well, and your freezer becomes a silent ally. Choose poorly, and it slowly chips away at your health. And this is where I want you to lean in. Let's count down the 4 frozen foods that quietly work against people after 60, starting with one of the most familiar. Stay with me, because the third one often shocks people when they realize it is sitting right in their freezer. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. Do you ever rely on frozen meals when you feel too tired to cook? Tell me in the comments. And if you want the healthier swaps coming right after this list, consider subscribing so you do not miss them. Number 4. Frozen pizza. It feels almost like a paradox. Frozen pizza looks harmless, even comforting, yet after 60 it quietly works against the very things we want to protect. What feels easy for the hands often makes life harder for the heart. A man who laughed as he told me frozen pizza had become his weeknight companion. It was quick, no dishes, and always there. Months later, his ankles were swelling, and his doctor warned him about rising blood pressure. He never thought to connect those warnings with the slices from his freezer. Frozen pizza often hides more than 700 milligrams of sodium in a single serving, sometimes well over 1,000. And let's be honest, almost no one stops at one slice. The Centers for Disease Control has long warned that this level of salt pushes blood pressure higher and puts strain on aging hearts. The crust is refined starch, spiking blood sugar at a time when insulin sensitivity is already lower. A report in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition linked diets rich in refined carbs with higher inflammation and a greater risk of type 2 diabetes in older adults. And for nearly 800 calories, you may only get 15 grams of protein, when what you truly need at this stage is closer to 25 or 30 to preserve muscle. For me, the trade-off is clear. Frozen pizza offers quick comfort but little protection. A lighter version at home, a thin whole grain base, piled with vegetables and a lean protein like tuna or chicken, keeps the flavor without the hidden cost. Even breakfast can carry traps of its own. Sweet on the surface, but leading to a spiral that lasts the whole day. That is where we turn next. Number 3. Sweet breakfast pastries. Breakfast is praised as the most important meal of the day. Yet for many over 60, frozen pastries and syrupy waffles turn that promise upside down. They feel cheerful in the moment, but leave the body drained. A woman in her late 60s told me she loved toaster strudels because they made mornings feel simple. By mid-morning, her hands shook. By the afternoon, she often napped in her chair. What felt like energy was only a short-lived rush. The American Diabetes Association has shown that refined carbs and added sugars send blood glucose soaring, and with lower insulin sensitivity in older adults, the crash that follows is deeper and longer. A review in Nutrients in 2020 highlighted how high-sugar breakfasts disturb hunger-regulating hormones, triggering stronger cravings through the day. Add the oils used in many frozen pastries, palm and hydrogenated soybean, and the result is more inflammation, more joint stiffness, and even lower sleep quality at night. After 60, every calorie matters. Spending $200 or $300 on a pastry that gives almost no protein or fiber is like filling a gas tank with fumes. A warm bowl of oatmeal with frozen berries or whole grain waffles topped with Greek yogurt gives the same comfort but steady fuel. Have the first two foods, frozen pizza and sweet breakfast pastries, surprised you so far? Tell me below. I always love hearing your experiences. And if sugar can throw an entire day off balance, the next frozen food is even more surprising. It does not just affect energy, it fuels inflammation inside the body. And here is the part I am certain about. The third item on our list is sitting in nearly every family's freezer. Stay with me to find out. Number 2. Fried favorites. We are moving closer to the top of this list, and missing this one would be a mistake. These are the frozen foods that seem playful and harmless. Yet when fried once, frozen, and fried again in your oven or pan, they become a real problem. Nuggets, fries, onion rings, even coated fish sticks, familiar to almost every freezer. I remember a grandfather who kept boxes of chicken nuggets for his grandkids. They love them, and honestly, I grab a few myself, he admitted. Later, he told me he often felt stiff in the mornings, his fingers aching more than they used to. He never thought the crispy foods in his freezer had anything to do with it. The trouble lies in what happens to oils under double cooking. When heated at high temperatures, then frozen and reheated again, they produce compounds called advanced glycation end products. The National Institute on Aging has pointed out that these compounds accelerate inflammation and make the aging process harsher on joints, memory, and even blood vessels. The breading, usually refined flour and added sugars, spikes blood sugar quickly and offers almost no nutrition in return. Studies in the Journal of Gerontology have also linked frequent fried food intake with higher risk of cognitive decline in older adults. Here's my view. Eating nuggets or fries occasionally will not ruin your life, but keeping them as a freezer habit slowly steals flexibility, energy, and independence. A better way is to replace them with oven-roasted vegetables brushed with olive oil or fish baked without heavy coatings. You still get something warm and crispy, but without the double-cooked burden. So now you've seen pizza, pastries, and fried favorites. But we're not done yet. Can you guess what takes the number 1 spot? It is that nightly indulgence so many people keep in their freezer. A sweet comfort that feels harmless, but quietly robs both sleep and long-term health. Stay with me as we reveal it next. Number 1. Nightly desserts. This is the moment we reach the very top of the list. And if you thought the earlier foods were concerning, this one carries a hidden cost that touches both your health and your rest. Many freezers hold it without question. Tubs of ice cream, frozen pies, or other sweet desserts waiting to be scooped out at night. A woman in her 70s once told me she couldn't end her day without a bowl of ice cream. "It helps me relax," she explained. But soon her nights were restless, mornings groggy, and her memory slipping. What felt like comfort was quietly stealing the very recovery her body needed. Studies make sense of this. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition reported that high sugar at night worsens glucose control and interferes with sleep cycles in older adults. Add to that the palm oils, emulsifiers, and stabilizers many frozen desserts contain, which research in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience links to changes in gut health, mood, and cognition. And low-quality saturated fats make arteries stiffer, pushing the heart to work harder. Here's the truth. Occasional celebration is fine, but nightly dessert is not harmless. It is a trade-off, swapping sweetness now for poorer sleep, weaker memory, and extra strain tomorrow. A gentler option could be frozen berries with Greek yogurt or a warm cup of chamomile tea with a handful of raisins. Comfort stays, but without the heavy price. Now a quick challenge for you. Of the 4 culprits, pizza, pastries, fried favorites, and nightly desserts, which do you reach for most often? Share below and see if you can let go of just one this week. And here's the exciting part. We've talked about what to avoid, but there are also frozen foods that act like allies, not enemies. The first one protects both brain and heart, and it may already be in your freezer. Don't miss what comes next. Number 4. Wild-caught frozen fish. It almost feels unfair. Many people think frozen fish is second-rate compared to fresh, when in truth it can be one of the strongest allies for both brain and heart after 60. The same freezer that held pizza and desserts can also hold a quiet medicine in fillet form. A retired teacher once admitted she avoided fish because fresh fillets spoiled too quickly. When she finally tried frozen salmon, she was surprised at how easy it was to cook and how much steadier her energy felt. Her cholesterol numbers improved, and she even said her memory felt less foggy. Fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel are frozen at peak freshness, often within hours of being caught. That means the omega-3 fatty acids are locked in. The Journal of Alzheimer's Disease reported in 2016 that regular omega-3 intake slowed cognitive decline in older adults. The American Heart Association also emphasizes that 2 servings of fatty fish weekly lower the risk of heart disease by reducing triglycerides and improving artery function. On top of that, each serving provides 20 to 25 grams of high-quality protein, exactly the level older muscles need for maintenance. Vitamin D, which declines naturally with age, is also abundant in these fillets, supporting bones, mood, and immunity. The key is simple. Keep individually frozen fillets so you can cook just what you need. Bake or grill them with olive oil and lemon. No complicated steps required, yet the benefits extend far beyond the meal itself. And if protection for brain and heart can be tucked into something as simple as frozen fish, imagine what a burst of deep color in your freezer might do for memory, immunity, and vitality. That's where we go next. Number 3. Frozen berries. It sounds almost backward, but frozen berries can actually be more nutritious than fresh. Many expect that the freezer steals flavor and vitamins, when in fact it often locks them in. A man in his late 60s once told me he avoided berries because the fresh cartons spoiled too quickly. When he finally switched to frozen blueberries, he was shocked by the difference. He could blend them into oatmeal, yogurt, or smoothies without waste, and he noticed that his digestion felt lighter and his memory sharper. Berries frozen at peak ripeness preserve their antioxidants, while fresh ones lose nutrients each day in transport and storage. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that vitamin C and polyphenols were retained better in frozen blueberries than in those stored fresh for a week. These compounds fight the inflammation and oxidative stress that accelerate aging. Blueberries in particular have been called brain berries, with the Annals of Neurology reporting that older adults who ate more of them had slower cognitive decline. Strawberries add vitamin C for collagen and immunity, while raspberries and blackberries bring fiber for gut health. A simple handful of frozen berries can serve as your multivitamin, delivering protection for memory, immunity, and circulation. Stir them into yogurt, add them to oatmeal, or let them thaw as a sweet topping. Do you already keep berries in your freezer? Or would this be a new habit for you? I'd love to know. Share your answer below. We've now seen how the freezer can fight for your brain and heart, and there is more ahead. If blue can act like a multivitamin, imagine what green can do for strength and resilience. That's where we turn next. And don't forget, at the end I'll share your freezer makeover, a 14-day, senior-friendly plan. If you find these ideas helpful, please subscribe and share this with a friend who could use them too. Number 2. Frozen vegetables. It feels almost like a contradiction. Many believe fresh vegetables are always the gold standard, yet frozen ones can sometimes deliver more nutrition and far less waste. I once spoke with a man in his 70s who admitted he bought fresh broccoli every week, only to throw half of it away when it wilted. When he switched to frozen, he said, "For the first time, I'm actually eating vegetables every day, not just when I get to them in time." His energy improved, and even his digestion felt steadier. Science supports this story. Vegetables picked and frozen at peak ripeness hold on to their vitamins, while fresh produce can lose significant amounts during shipping and storage. A study in the Journal of Food Composition and Analysis showed that frozen spinach and broccoli retain vitamin C and folate, as well as, or even better than, their fresh counterparts after a week. For older adults, these nutrients matter. Vitamin C supports immunity, folate protects brain health, and fiber keeps digestion moving. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts also contain sulforaphane, a compound that helps the body's natural detox systems, which weaken with age. Here's what I suggest. Stock your freezer with plain, single-ingredient vegetables. No sauces, no additives. Steam them lightly, roast with olive oil, or stir into soups. They taste fresh, but give you consistency that fresh produce alone rarely provides. So far, we've covered fish, berries, and greens that protect your strength and immunity. But can you guess what sits at the very top of the good list? The number 1 frozen food for seniors? Take a sip of tea, and then we'll move on to something warm and comforting that carries an unexpected secret for joints, skin, and recovery. Number 1. Frozen bone broth. We've reached the last stop on our list of freezer heroes, and this one is often overlooked. Skipping it would mean missing out on a quiet source of strength hiding in plain sight: frozen bone broth. I remember a neighbor in her early 70s who struggled with aching knees. She confessed she stopped cooking soups because it felt like too much work. When her daughter stocked her freezer with ready-to-heat bone broth, she found herself sipping a cup every afternoon. Within weeks, she said her joints felt looser, and she slept more soundly. Properly simmered bone broth, when frozen, preserves collagen and amino acids like glycine and proline. Collagen naturally declines by about 1% per year after age 20, which makes replenishment crucial later in life. A review in Nutrients in 2019 highlighted that collagen supplementation supported joint comfort and skin elasticity in older adults. Glycine, found abundantly in broth, has been studied in the Journal of Sleep Research for its ability to improve sleep quality by calming the nervous system. And the minerals, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, come in forms that the aging gut absorbs more easily. Frozen bone broth is not just a soup base. It can be your afternoon ritual, a warm cup that comforts while repairing from the inside out. Use it to cook rice or quinoa, or simply sip it plain with herbs and sea salt. Mini challenge for you. Without rewinding, can you name all 4 frozen foods to avoid and all 4 frozen foods to embrace? Write them below. I want to see how many you remember. Now that we've explored the 4 foods to avoid and the 4 to embrace, how do you actually put this into practice without overwhelm? That's where your freezer makeover, a 14-day senior-friendly plan, comes in. Our final step. Here's the real challenge. Knowing which foods to avoid and which to embrace is only half the story. The question is, how do you turn that knowledge into a routine that lasts? That's exactly why a freezer makeover matters. I once met a retired couple in their 70s who always started strong after a doctor's visit. They bought salmon, berries, and vegetables, but by the second week, frozen pizza and desserts slipped back in. What finally helped them wasn't willpower, but a clear 2-week rhythm that made good choices automatic. Behavioral research published in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine shows that habits become sustainable when repeated consistently for at least 14 days. So here's a simple plan designed with seniors in mind. In week 1, open your freezer and make a gentle swap. Remove just 1 bad item and add 1 good item. For instance, replace frozen pastries with a bag of blueberries or a set of wild-caught salmon fillets. Keep it simple, no pressure to change everything overnight. In week 2, expand the swap. Add frozen vegetables and bone broth while phasing out fried items or nightly desserts. By the end of 14 days, you won't just see a cleaner freezer. You'll feel more energy, steadier digestion, and greater confidence in your daily meals. This freezer makeover is about progress, not perfection. Start today. Take that first small swap, and in 14 days, come back to share your results with me and with everyone here. Your story could inspire someone else to take their first step. You've now seen how a 14-day freezer makeover can refresh your kitchen and strengthen your health, even protecting against muscle loss after 60. But there's one natural food, often hiding in plain sight, that works even better than protein powders to keep your strength. That's why I made the next video. Forget protein powder. This natural food stops muscle loss instantly. You can watch it right here.